Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Undersea Rescue Command, I welcome you to the commission ceremony of NDCS Daniel Coletti. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and silence all cell phones. Family, friends, shipmates, good morning. Welcome once again to the commissioning ceremony of Senior Chief Coletti. I'm Master Diver, Master Chief Tim Roth. I'm your Master of Ceremonies. I would like to extend a special welcome to Dan's wife Lindsay, children Emma and Camden, and all other family and friends, shipmates in attendance. Today we gather to witness a transition from enlisted ranks to officer ranks. A commissioned officer, warrant officers possess the authority and are qualified by extensive experience and knowledge to direct the most difficult and exacting operations within a given occupation specialty. Although intended primarily as a technical specialist, CWOs may serve as division officers, department heads, and officers in charge. Although the warrant officer ranks after the junior officer, they are recognized for being a highly skilled and proven professional. Dan, you've come a long way. We first met. I've always recognized a lot of potential in you, and I could see where your talents could take you. I think even when you didn't recognize it. Luckily, I had Lindsay backing me up, and she pushed hardest, I think, for you throughout your career. If it wasn't for her, she was driving me hard to get to that master diver test, I wouldn't be senior chief today. Then she pushed hard again, and we got you that warrant package in, and now you're getting commissioned. I think it's only fair that since he's getting commissioned and you did all the work, that you should spend all the money. I also want to tell you, I think it's very important that with your new responsibilities that you take on, you're going to be the conduit of communication from the enlisted ranks to the wardroom. It's very important that when you give the capabilities and limitations to the wardroom of the guys, and you pass down the tasking and the command's mission and vision, that you do that with great reservation in how you deliver that message. It's not always what you say, but it's how you say it. You need to filter out any negativity up and down the chain, because you're now going to be a big part of the command's morale, more so than ever before. At this time, Commander Powers will recognize Senior Chief Coletti for his tour of duty while assigned to Undersea Rescue Command. The Department of the Navy, this is to certify that the Secretary of the Navy has awarded the Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medal, Gold Star in lieu of third award, to Senior Chief Navy Diver Daniel Coletti. 4. Meritorious achievement while serving in the Engineering Department, leading Chief Petty Officer at Undersea Rescue Command from October 2016 to October 2020. Senior Chief Coletti consistently performs demanding duties in an exemplary and highly professional manner, demonstrating senior technical expertise. He supervised 45 personnel during 219 days at sea and 6 international exercises conducting high-risk submarine rescues, intervention and decompression operations. He led the team in 488 procedural validations, 71 provisional qualifications on the transfer under pressure system, culminating in the successful completion of manned testing and system certification to bring this critical capability online after 20 years of development. Senior Chief Coletti's distinctive accomplishments, unrelenting perseverance, and steadfast devotion to duty reflects credit upon himself, and we're keeping it within the highest traditions of the United States service. Signed, J.P. Feldman, Captain, U.S. Navy. Anyone Brooks, the side's yours.
Primary bank, 2500. Manifold pressure, 135. Secondary, 4200, 135. Left side, hand divers. Hand divers.
Check, run around the quick side.
Side, divers into the water.
Divers into the water.
Red diver, stand up, enter water.
Red diver, stand up, enter water.
Okay, red.
Okay, red. Okay, red.
Green diver, stand up, moving water's edge.
Green diver, stand up, moving water's edge.
Air water ready.
And water ready.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Both scours, get together, check each other's legs.
Both divers get together, check each other's legs. Their legs are red. Their legs, both divers.
Okay, console, tank and tank. Tank, 2500. Manifold pressure, 135.
It would check complete set, both divers.
We're staying on side, divers leave service.
Divers leave service.
Both divers leave service.
Both divers leave service. All bottom, okay, both divers.
Understand, safe standby.
Safe standby. Safe standby.
Console, tank and tank. 135. Left side, left standby. Standby, move up, move water's edge.
Stand by, move water's edge. And water ready. I will now read the CPO-CWO Transition Creed. Chief Petty Officers, active and retired, attention. You have this day experienced that which comes to many of us who served as Chief Petty Officers in our Navy. I say our Navy because your departure from the fraternity of the Chiefs Navy, blame my last. I'm going to start this over. You have this day experienced that which comes to many of us who served as Chief Petty Officers in our Navy. I say our Navy because your departure from the fraternity of Chiefs in no way terminates our relationship, our regards, our obligations to serve, and our fellow Chief Petty Officers. The respect that you've earned as the Chief was based in the same attributes that will carry you into the leadership role as a naval officer. Have no regrets. We view your commissioning orders not as an end of an era, but as orders to a new challenging assignment. Remember well that you have been and always will be accepted member of the most exclusive of all maritime fraternities, that of the United States Navy Chief Petty Officer. Chief Snyder will now remove Senior Chief Coletti's anchors and dive pin. Will the guest please rise and his family join him at the front of the tank? Military personnel, attention to oath. Ensign Murphy will now deliver the oath of office. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the newest Chief Warrant Officer in the United States Navy, Chief Warrant Officer Coletti. Blue ball, divers early bottom.
Other side, divers leave bottom. Divers leave bottom. Divers leave bottom, we know the left. Up bottom.
Today's ceremony has commissioned Dan Coletti as Chief Warrant Officer, a community also known as Mustangs. Chief Warrant Officer Anderson will now read what is a Mustang.
In the Navy, a Mustang is an officer who has promoted up from the ranks of the enlisted personnel through an in-service procurement program with no interruption of his or her active duty status. It is also understood that the Mustang officer is a career sailor and normally wears one or more good conduct medals. The term Mustang is a relatively modern term originating either just prior to or during World War II. It is believed to be a sea service term, although the other services are beginning to be described as Mustangs as well. Literally refers to the Mustang horse, which is a wild animal and therefore cannot be a thoroughbred. A Mustang, after being captured, can be tamed and saddle broken, but it always has a bit of a wild streak and can periodically revert to its own ways unexpectedly, and therefore owners need to keep an eye out on it at all times. By the same token, however, since a Mustang was formerly a wild and free animal, it may very well be more capable and have a better survival instinct than thoroughbreds. The Mustang can take care of itself when things get tough, driving on rough treatment, while the thoroughbred, having been pampered its whole life, cannot. You can easily see the parallel between horses and naval officers. The term Mustang is used in the complimentary sense most of the time. The Chief Warrant Officer is an officer by appearance, and in the minds of the top brass, an enlisted technician at heart. The creed of the LDO, CWO, upon receiving their commission, as I did it the hard way, I earned it. Dan, congratulations, welcome to the community. You got it.
Warrant Officer Coletti's cover will be donned by his wife, Lindsay. Warrant Officer Coletti will now return his first salute as part of the Silver Dollar Salute tradition. Andy Wimbowen, front and center. It is an honor tradition. A brand new silver dollar to the first enlisted service member who salutes him. The exact origin of this custom is arguable, but it probably began before the United States Armed Forces were organized. British regiments stationed in colonial America brought with them a number of customs that were retained by the newly formed American Armed Forces. One status symbol, highly sought by the newly commissioned British officers, was to have a servant assigned to them. The servant was normally an enlisted man who was responsible for ensuring the officer's kit, dress, and field uniforms and personal equipment were serviceable at all times. The enlisted man was also responsible for teaching the officer the ship's history, traditions, and customs. The customs continued to grow with the British military and newly formed American units. American second lieutenants in 1816 received a monthly pay of $25, a $3 ration allowance, and $1 for enlisted advisors. The advisor pay was later discontinued, but the responsibility for teaching the newly commissioned officers continued. The present-day tradition of giving a silver dollar for the first salute is thought to have its roots in this relationship.
Thank you for sharing this day with my family and I. This tour has been the most challenging of my career, but by far the most rewarding. When I checked into this command, I had just made chief coming from the mighty Frank Cable. Fresh and eager to learn, I was greeted with the fire hose that is URC. Being the only submarine rescue command in the Navy, there's so much information to learn in a very short period of time to apply it to the asset. Fortunately for me, there was a rock-solid team here that made learning quick and easy. Just to give you a bit of history about submarine rescue. As a direct result from the sinking of the USS F4 in 1915, which was the Navy's first boat lost in 15 years of submarine operations, the first U.S. Navy dive manual was published, as well as the establishment of a Navy diving school in Newport, Rhode Island. So it's only fitting that my commissioning be here at URC. And done underwater, which so many of us call home. That was fun. I am very honored to have been selected to join the diving warrant officer community, and I am very humbled to work among some great leaders. I will always do what's right by my people and ensure that every operation under my watch is completed safely. I would like to thank everyone at the command for all of the support over the last 4 years. This promotion is just as much your accomplishment as it is mine. Sel, I do apologize for all the talking to's you've had on my behalf, but I'm pretty sure we're both better people now because of it. Commander Powers, thank you for being here today, and the keen mentorship that you've provided me, always teaching me to ask the tough questions. Over the length of my career, I've had some key leaders that course-corrected my path and ultimately led me to this moment. When I was a young first class who thought he had the Navy all figured out, Master Diver Roth, in the nicest way he knew how, enlightened me that I did not. I was on a path that would not have even resulted in me making chief, so he held my hand and showed me that I could do better. You'd be surprised how fast a diver's attitude can change by taking away their blue and golds. Even after I transferred to Guam to eventually work with him again at URC, he never stopped pushing me to be more. Master Diver Atherton, who unfortunately isn't able to be here with us today, helped mold me and teach me many of his ways on how to be a good leader and to always look out for your people. He kept me sane during my tour in Guam, and anytime I needed a little adjustment or motivational talk, he was always willing to provide it. Warrant Officer Neighbors, taken out due to COVID restrictions, is also not able to be here today. I had a difficult time figuring him out at first. They were trying times, and many lessons were learned, but it eventually clicked at how similar him and I were and why he was being such a pain in my ass. He, just like the previous two, realized I wasn't living up to my true potential and spent many hours instilling his teachings upon me. I can honestly say that without the guidance and influence of these three men, I would not be standing here today. To my mom and dad, I can guarantee you that I would not be standing here today if it weren't for you, so thank you for making me. Dad, you have been there for all the late night and early morning phone calls to aid me in whatever home repair I found myself in over my head with. The family is already planning its next Disney World trip, although I'm not sure either of us have fully recovered from the last one. I love you and we'll see you soon. Mom, you have always given so much to our family and me, from paying for my speeding tickets, sending us Christmas tree cakes all the way to Guam, even though sometimes they were melted, and always making sure I had socks and underwear to open on Christmas. She had always hoped that I would have given a valedictorian speech. That's a hard word, by the way. But that goes to my C+ grades that I get. But so this is as close as you're going to get to the valedictorian speech. That says stuff. I don't always say this enough, but thank you. I appreciate everything you have done and everything you have sacrificed for me, and I love you. To Emma and Camden, this move will be by far the hardest move for all of us, but I always know that I can count on your support no matter the endeavor. This will be your last move until the end of high school, and I am so proud of both of you, and I cannot wait to see what great accomplishments you will have in your life. I love you both, equally. Lastly, to my beautiful wife, Lindsay, over the last 17 years, you have been my rock, my whole world, my greatest support system. Every time I wanted to give up and take the easy road, you would never let me get off that exit. And I am grateful for the drive you give me, and I appreciate you for always seeing my full potential. Helicopter. Being a Navy spouse is no easy task. Some would say it's the hardest job in the Navy. But in all seriousness, you've had to take care of the kids and I while getting your bachelor's degree, working a full-time job, and most recently carrying our third child. The sacrifices you have made with every relocation, every deployment, or every TAD trip, I cannot thank you enough. This has been one heck of a journey, and I would not want anyone else by my side for it. Here's to another 11 years of adventures until we can retire on a beach somewhere. I love you to the moon and back. Thank you.
Thank you, Warren. Newly commissioned officers have a tradition of held wedding down parties. The wedding down party has once a quite and rough and tumble affair. It was a custom for the officer to wear his new uniform or stripes for the first time at the wedding down. The guest would proceed to christen the uniform, the occupant, and the commissioning with whatever liquid refreshments paid for by the victim was available. Over the years, however, Navy life has become calmer, the price of gold grade has skyrocketed, and the literal christening is no longer condoned. Dan took care of it by christening himself. Therefore, if available guests are all invited to enjoy Warrant Officer Coletti and his family here for food and refreshments. This, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our ceremony. URC team, front center.
Last down, Chief Slade. Chief Jones. These are full time. All right, he's our full time. All right. So on behalf of USC team,
So you definitely hit this one out of the park. I couldn't have asked for a better gift from the Mets. This is honestly, I couldn't have done it better myself. I'll tell you. Thank you. Dude, that's so badass. Awesome. Thanks, man.